I knew you were going to say that.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Better Win Green, eh? To Better Win Green, eh? To Better Win Green, eh?
Welcome into Intentional Lounging, brought to you by Better and Green. Guys, it is a new year, a new season, a new draft with new players. I am so excited. A fantastic year for our teams, by the way. My Chiefs got the repeat. You guys as Lions all the way to the NFC Championship game. So it's just a fantastic year of football for us. Talking about who you hope your team drafts this year, we can just go around real quick. I'm hoping that I can get Marvin Harrison Jr. at 32, hoping that he falls in the draft with some character concerns. No. Honestly, I think we go left tackle. We got really big tackle needs. Everybody's thinking receiver. I don't care whatever way to go. I'm excited. I love the draft. I'm a big draft guy, so I'm just so excited for football season to be back. Ethan, who do you think the Lions take, and how have you been?
Yeah, been great. Can't believe the draft is already here. Little weird not having a top 10 pick. I got to say it snuck up on me here. I'm not diving into as many mock drafts as I typically do because there's no gaping need for the Lions per se. But yeah, Marvin Harrison would never fall to 32 to the Chiefs because if he got to 29, Detroit would surely scoop him, I would hope. He's got to be the best player in this draft. I would have to think. I'll be shocked if any other player has a better career than he does. And honestly, after last year's draft, I hated it, and it was probably the best draft in Detroit Lions history. So in Brad Holmes, I trust. Don't really care who they take. I think if he's got his eye on somebody, if he trades up, trades back, picks at 29, doesn't matter. But I guess Chop Robinson for me would be the guy I kind of have in my head that I would like, but don't really care. No gaping need necessarily for Detroit. Whatever they do, I'm probably happy with it.
Yeah, like you said, I trust the Lions with my life. Again, that last draft was unreal. I just hope this year we don't draft up. We don't move forward because there's really not that guy in the draft for us to move forward to. Like, there's not that one dude. Maybe we can get the best best corner, but he's also from Toledo. Like, he played in MAC schools. Like, I don't think there's a gaping need for us to draft or to move forward and sacrifice draft picks. I do hope we either stay at our spot, grab an edge or a corner, or draft back and get some more draft capital. So I'm excited. Again, like Ethan said, it's a little weird. We're 29th for the Lions. And I know for Ben, you're used to either not having a first round pick or super late first round pick. Not us Detroit fans. We are used since Joey Harrington back in 2002 or 3. We are used to our first overall top 5 draft picks. So it's a little bittersweet. My excitement's not there yet. It'll get there probably on day 2 when we get rounds 2 and 3. But I think there's a possibility Detroit doesn't have a first round draft pick. I think they are very likely moving back, but I'm excited. I'm excited to get in with you guys. And without further ado, Ben, you are on the clock for the first overall pick in the 2024 Better and Green draft.
Well, welcome to the back of the bus, boys. It's a fun time staying up real late to watch who your team picks, but show me your Penix with the first picks. No, I'm joking. Everybody knows who the first pick's going to be. First pick's going to be Caleb Williams. I mean, even last year, people were trying to throw the little smoke screen around that wasn't going to be Bryce Young. Everybody knew it was Bryce Young. People aren't even trying this year. It's going to be Caleb Williams. I don't even think you can bet this anymore. I think that the first pick you can bet on is the second pick in the draft. It's a foregone conclusion. The Bears know it's Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams knows it's the Bears. Ethan, who's the second Washington taking?
Yeah, bust, first of all, for Caleb Williams, but I shouldn't wish that kid's downfall. I kind of do. I shouldn't, but I do. Second pick in the Better in Green 2024 NFL draft, the Washington Commanders will select another quarterback, probably the best quarterback in the draft, Jaden Daniels out of LSU. I think Washington, they have a shot to kind of do what the Texans did last year, where they can make some noise with a rookie quarterback. I think they have some nice pieces around him. I think Jane Daniels is probably going to be the best quarterback prospect in this draft. I think it's a nice pick for Washington here at number 2.
Yeah, that puts New England in a little bit of a bind because I think that was New England's guy. So we're going to do this without trades, but in real life, I think New England might open up to a trade here because I don't think they see a super big difference between the available quarterbacks. But since there's no trade, with the 3rd overall pick, the Patriots are going to select Drake May from North Carolina. Again, I do think they want Jaden Daniels. I don't think they're going to get him. Since they don't got their guy, I could see them very well trading back, possibly with the Vikings or someone else who wants to jump up and snag a better quarterback. But for the sake of this draft, I'm going to have them picking Drake May.
A lot of quarterback needy teams. And I'm interested that you went Jaden Daniels for Washington, Ethan. And, they just took Sam Howell just a couple years ago, and they might be seeing a lot of Sam Howell and Drake May. So it's very possible they go that Jaden Daniels route, even if his elbows look super weird.
What is that?
Arizona Cardinals on the clock. We're finally getting out of the quarterback territory. And once again, kind of like Caleb Williams, this is close to a foregone conclusion. People are trying to say Malik Neighbors. It's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. He's going to be the pick here. Give Kyler another weapon in the desert. Something to be excited about for those guys. They need something.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think Marvin's going to be the best player out of this draft. I do see Arizona is open to trading away that pick. Wouldn't shock me if the Chargers move up just one spot to snag Marvin Harrison. But like Wyatt said, no trades in the better and green draft. So the Chargers are going to take Malik Neighbors, wide receiver, LSU. I'll stick on the LSU train. Keenan Allen is gone. Mike Williams is gone too, I believe. Austin Eckler is gone. Their offense is gone. It's a new start for Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh. And they need a wide out there who can pair up with Quentin Johnston, who didn't have the greatest rookie season last year. They need a guy sure-handed who can make big plays. I think Malik Neighbors is the burner that they're looking for.
Well, to make it 3 wide receivers in the row, for the 6th overall pick, the Giants are going to select the guy that Michigan absolutely ate his lunch, Odunze from Washington, wide receiver, 6th overall to the Giants. Again, I could very well see this being a trade spot. Same thing with that. I like that idea that the Cardinals possibly might trade back with the Chargers, and then the Cardinals then could trade with the Vikings. Yeah, there's a lot of trades out there, but for the sake of this, again, the Giants got to go wide receiver. I don't know what position or what pick selection that's going to be, but it's going to be a wide receiver. So for the sake of this, it's the best wide receiver on the board is Odunze. I apologize if that's pronounced wrong. I don't really care because Michigan ate his lunch in the national championship game, but he's going to be going to the Giants.
I like it. 3 quarterbacks in a row, 3 receivers in a row. Let's see if we can make it 3 offensive linemen in a row. So we're going to have to give the Tennessee Titans Joe Alt. They have so many needs, but Joe Alt just seems kind of like Marvin Harrison, kind of destined to have a really good career. His dad had a great career. Joe Alt, his father was also in the NFL. He had a great career. So Joe Alt is going to be really, I believe, the left tackle. Neither one of their tackle spots are very great. I think Joe Alt just comes in and starts day one.
Yeah, I can so easily see the Titans taking Joe Alt. I can just see Joe Alt being a Titan.
Yeah.
Another thing, and the reason kind of why I went Jaden Daniels with Washington, Drake May is just a Patriot. I can just see it. It's 100%. It's who he is made to play for. But yeah, I feel the same way with Joe Alt there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to continue the trend. I'm not going to go O-line here for the Falcons pick, but I will go lineman. I'm going to go defensive line, edge rusher, Jared Verse out of Florida State. Think the Falcons have some nice offensive pieces there now with Kirk Cousins, Bijan. Hopefully, what's his face at tight end can actually perform the way he's supposed to. But defensively, they need some work. I think they get a top edge rusher here at the 8th spot.
Like it.
Yeah, we have our first team up for their 2nd pick in this draft, and that is number 9 with Chicago. Again, with the current situation of this draft, I doubt Chicago would keep this pick. They would be very smart to move it back. But for the sake, again, like this, I'm going to say it every single time. I think they really want a wide receiver if they can get a top one. Since there's 3, the top 3 are off the board, I think they're going to go O-line or edge rusher. I'm going to have them. Gosh, this is tough. I'm going to have them going O-line. I'm going to take this big Samoan boy, Fautaunu out of Washington, offensive tackle. That's not even close to being pronounced right, but that's who they're going to select at 9th. Fautanu.
There's going to be a lot of names we're butchered, so just bear with us, everybody. At number 10, we got the New York Jets. I feel like this is a very interesting pick. Do you want to get Aaron Rodgers more receiving weapons? Do you want to get that offensive line shored up? Do you want to get more defensive pieces for that elite defense? And do you even want to keep loading up for Aaron Rodgers? We just saw year one was a complete disaster. How many more years are you going to get out of this guy? And at that, how many good years are you going to get out of this guy? We'll take Bowers. We'll take Bowers out of Georgia. They're in win now mode, and it just gives them one more piece that I think they need on offense to try to get that done.
Yeah, I like that pick. That's who I would have gone with too at 10 there. That brings us to 11, Minnesota Vikings. Every word on the street tells you they aren't going to be picking 11th. They will be higher up in this draft with a trade. But they're still getting their guy that has been linked to them for as long as I can remember. Well, not really, the last 6-7 weeks probably. JJ McCarthy, Michigan quarterback. Personally, I would go one of the other guys, I think. I would maybe look at Penix here if I were them. But I'm not an NFL scout, and I'm not connected to the NFL whatsoever. Everyone says J.J. McCarthy is the guy. Going to the NFC North, I hope he isn't, if that's where he ends up. But, yeah, I think that's who Vikings have their eye on. In our draft, he's falling to 11. I think they snag him.
Yeah, these next two, or these three teams right here, the 11th, 12th, and 13th overall pick, I think could easily trade up for quarterbacks as well, as they are, all three of them are in need. But yeah, that brings us to number 12 with the Denver Broncos. Tough one here. I'm going to have the Broncos because they're extremely dumb. I'm going to have them take a shot, and it's going to surprise the world. I'm going to have the Broncos take a shot on Bo freaking Nix. And again, I think they might trade back if this is how the trade's going to go. They can get Bo later, build up some draft capital later in the draft. But I'm going to have them selecting Bo Nix kind of out of the blue. But I think they might get him, maybe not at the 12th pick, but maybe in the high teens or early 20s if they do trade back.
Interesting. I think on DraftKings right now, the line's set at 4.5 for quarterbacks drafted in the first round. We already hit 5 within the first 12 picks. So, over. I think that the Las Vegas Raiders, I think they need some offensive line help. So, we're going to go with, they're going to take J.C. Latham out of Alabama.
All right, and that brings me to the New Orleans Saints, who I also think need some line help. Well, they need a lot of help. Let's just be real here. Aging defense, they could use some defensive players, but I'm going to take – I shouldn't even try this. Alamuawaya Fashanu, offensive line, Penn State.
It was better than I could do. All right, that brings us to number 15, the Indianapolis Colts. Colts have their quarterback. They pretty much can go any direction here. I think they're going to probably go defense if they do remain at 15. Boy. I'll have them taking... We'll go cornerback. We'll go... Mitchell from Toledo, first corner off the board. Speedster out of Little Mac School, Toledo, going to Indianapolis. Close to home.
I like that a lot. I really like that. So now we're at the Seattle Seahawks at number 16. I think they're going to take a guy kind of close to home. I'm going to take Talisi Waga, tackle out of Oregon State.
Like it. Glad I didn't have to say it.
Waga.
That brings up the Jacksonville Jaguars, who still have Michael Penix on the board if they're not feeling their protege and Trevor Lawrence there. But I still have faith. They obviously still have faith. I think they're going to go cornerback here. I think they're going to take Terrion Arnold, cornerback out of Alabama here.
That brings us to the Cincinnati Bengals, and they really should go O-line. That's where they've struggled numerous years, but I think they're gonna try to get their LSU band back together. And I know I'm not sure. Is T. Higgins gone? Is Tyler Boyd gone? What's the story on those two? Are they still sticking around?
Boyd's gone. Higgins still there.
Okay. Boyd's gone. They need a new wide receiver 3. I'm gonna go the other LSU boy, Thomas, wide receiver. I don't even know his first name. Last name Thomas, wide receiver, Brian Thomas, from LSU.
Now we're on the Rams. I was going to go a different direction here. I think they need tackle help, and I think they need cornerback help. But they did just lose Aaron Donald. That's going to be a big difference going in. And for the way our draft has fallen, we still have Dallas Turner, edge rusher out of Alabama, available. So we're going to have the Rams take Turner there at 19 after he fell a bit.
Yep, I like that. Man, there's a guy I want to take here, but Steelers up next at 20. And I think bringing in Russell Wilson, bringing in Justin Fields, I think they really want to protect their quarterbacks here, want to get them as much protection and help as possible. So I think they're going to pick an offensive lineman. Unfortunately, a lot of the bigger names are off the board. So I'll go next best available for a tackle, Graham Barton out of Duke.
I like it. That brings us up to Miami at 21. I think Miami is going to go defense the way this draft is going to go. Their defense has been struggling. I know they've had injuries with their D-line especially. And the fact that Latu, the edge rusher from UCLA, has fallen to 21, I think they're going to take that with a smile on their face and happily. I think he's the best edge rusher in the draft. So I think that's a steal for Miami if they get him at 21. Again, Latu from UCLA, edge rusher.
I like that a lot. Well, I think that's a great pick. 22, Philadelphia Eagles. Can you draft a coach?
I knew you were going to say that.
Dang, man. Is Saban still available? Is he out there anywhere? A big sore spot for the Eagles last year was the defensive backs. They weren't able to stop the pass very well. And right now, you still got a couple good defensive backs on the board. I'm going to take Nate Wiggins out of Clemson. I think right here there's a couple interesting options, but Nate Wiggins just kind of feels like Eagle guy to me.
No Cooper DeJean, eh?
Not yet.
All right. Well, that brings me to Minnesota. Their second pick in the first round here. Second pick that I'm giving out for them. They already got their quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. I think they're going to shore up that defensive line, try to get some pass rush. If I'm not mistaken, they lost Daniil Hunter in the offseason. Their defense has been skeptical at best the last 2 years. Obviously, that playoff season 2 years ago, their defense was atrocious, and they somehow won a ton of games. I think they're going to shore up the inside of that defensive line by taking Byron Murphy, defensive lineman out of Texas.
Yeah, I think he's the pretty much unanimous number one interior D lineman. So, that's a pretty good pick. That brings us to number 24. I believe on DraftKings, the Dallas Cowboys to draft an offensive lineman is like minus 275. So I think it's pretty certain they're drafting an O lineman. I'm going to have them getting Mims, offensive tackle from Georgia.
The thing with the Packers, I'm looking at that's standing out to me is Zach Tom is their starting right tackle. It's like, who the hell is that? but we took all the good tackles already. I'm gonna give them Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma.
Yep, I like that. I was kind of hoping he would fall to Tampa. I think Tampa is going to be looking for alignment as well. However, they do have Tristan Wirfs there as their stud left tackle, so I think they might move towards interior line, look at a guard here. We'll go Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon.
I like that.
That brings us to 27. Second pick this in the first round again for the Arizona Cardinals. They're going to go defense here. They're going to go edge. And unfortunately, a couple picks before Detroit, they're going to pick up Chop Robinson.
Good for them.
Kind of.
Now we're on Buffalo at pick 28. They've got quite a few needs after free agency. I think none bigger than losing, which I know he was injured, but their cornerback that they had is really good, Tre'Davious White. So I'm gonna actually have them go cornerback here. We're just gonna keep passing up on Cooper. We're gonna take Kool-Aid McKinstry.
All right. Well, those are my two Lions picks. So, and I really don't see them taking Cooper DeJean. Oh man. Honestly, I think they would trade back at that point. Now I'm kind of scrambling here. Let's go. Man, oh man. I really don't want to give out Cooper. Cooper DeJean. I don't think it's going to fall that way, but
We did the best we could to knock him out of the first round.
we did. I would be stunned if that is who the Lions pick, but the way this draft has gone, it didn't leave me much of a choice.
Yeah, I hope they don't go that direction. Last time they got a boundary corner, he was more athletic, bigger, and black, and he was a massive bust, and that was Jeff Okudah. And now they're getting a shorter, slower white boy. I hope they don't do that, but we'll see. We'll see. At number 30, we have the Baltimore Ravens. Again, really should go offensive line, but I'm going to have them going edge just because I love the Ravens edge rushers. It just seems like they always have a solid edge there. I'm going to go Robinson from Missouri. No idea first name. Apologies. I just wrote down last names, but Robinson from Mizzou.
I like that. Like that guy seems like he's going to be pretty good. So we're at San Fran now. San Fran's got a couple ways they could go also. They had quite a bit of quarterback trouble throughout the season as well. We've got rid of pretty much the best ones. There's one guy that is kind of interesting to me. We are going to go tackle, though. Get rid of Colton McKivitz. We're going to take Jordan Morgan out of Arizona. Tackle.
All righty, and that brings up Kansas City for the final pick of day one in the NFL draft here. Got to be going wide receiver, I would have to think. Two nice options. Also, just backtracking, I did forget about that. The edge rusher Robinson. That's probably who, if we went back 2 minutes, who I would have taken for Detroit, but too late for that. I think Ladd McConkey would fit in so well with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. I think he'd be like Wes Welker to Tom Brady, or Edelman to Tom Brady. But I think they're going to opt for the bigger size guy on the edge. I'm going to give him Keon Coleman out of Florida State.
I like him, man.
And his initials are KC, so I mean it's just a nice fit.
It's true.
It's been written.
It's been written.
Question for Wyatt. Looking back at this draft, one of the guys I kept flip-flopping on is Mike Sainstrel out of Michigan, cornerback that I think he has some safety potential too. What do you think? Who do you think takes him? How good do you think he is?
Yeah, his problem is, and I think a lot of the reason he's fallen in draft stock is he is a converted nickel. He, was wide receiver for 3 years in college, turned into nickel his last two. And nickel is that weird hybrid between corner and safety. So yes, he can play both, or that just means he's very mediocre at both. So you just put him at nickel because he's either your third best safety or third best corner. Obviously, that wasn't the case for Michigan, but I think that's what the NFL guys see sometimes. So I don't know. He's small. He knows how to play football. He's always at the ball. But I think he's going to fall to late second, early third. I still think he's going to be a baller, but his size is an issue. And again, I think NFL teams are a little weary of that nickel position just because you usually get a starting corner or a starting safety and convert them to nickel. You usually just don't grab a nickel from college because that's just usually not how it works. So I'm biased towards him. I think he's still going to be a great player, but I think he's probably going to drop to late second, early third.
The second, early third. I wouldn't mind the Chiefs grabbing him. He could be a good guy.
Yeah, little Tyrann Mathieu kind of.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Looking
First
at
rounder thinking?
I actually wouldn't even mind first round. I trust Veach. Unless it comes to receivers. He drafts he'll pass up guys like Pickens for Sky Moore, pass up DK Metcalf for not Chris Conley, Mecole Hardman. Yeah. Good God. Yeah, I don't trust his receivers. Everything else though, he's great. Any surprises we think anybody falls out or jumps into the first round that didn't make it or did make it in ours?
I guess the one is, there's potentially 6 quarterbacks that can go. Bo Nix and Michael Penix. This draft, we had Bo Nix. Other drafts have Michael Penix. Some drafts have both. Some drafts have neither. That's really going to be the main question, I think, in the first round. I know the line set at 4.5. I think that's on DraftKings, but I think it's minus 175 for over 4.5. So I think the line's really right at 5. So the question is, are they both going to get in? Is one going to get left out? Again, I went a little against the grain and picked Bo Nix, but a lot of people have Penix higher. So I think that's the biggest question in our draft and just mock drafts in general, the quarterback situation.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, I think 5, like you said, is the number. I wouldn't be shocked if one of these teams, Detroit, Baltimore, San Fran, Kansas City, one of these late round teams trades out of the first round. I wouldn't be shocked if I don't know, New Orleans or Seattle or I don't know, maybe one of the Giants trade back up to snag Penix or Nix or McCarthy or whoever was available at that time. Yeah, I could see all 6 going in the first round.
Of those 3 teams that we were talking about, Minnesota, Denver, and Vegas, who do you guys think is most likely to trade up? Is it Minnesota pretty much a unanimous?
So the problem with Minnesota is, at least from my research, there's really no threats ahead of them to snag JJ. So if they just wanted to stay, they could get him. But the problem is, I think they're worried about what's Denver or Oakland going to do, which are right behind them. Because if they trade up, then they kind of screw out Minnesota, who's, like Ethan said, the last 5-6 weeks have been all over JJ McCarthy. So the only reason they would trade up would be fears that either Denver or Oakland would trade up ahead of them. I think we're going to see movement at 4, 5, and 6. I think something's going to move on there. I could see a couple 3-way trades with, like Ethan said, the Chargers, the Cardinals, and potentially the Vikings, the Broncos, or the Raiders. But I think out of those 3 teams you said, I think the Vikings are probably going to be the one that's going to be the trade up, because that's what everyone's saying.
I would say Denver is the most likely to trade up of those 3 because I think they have the least to lose. I think they're full-blown rebuild. They failed the Russell Wilson and the Sean Payton experiment. They really don't have much there. I know they just got Zach Wilson as their starting quarterback now, maybe, or whoever else they have. But I just don't think they have anything to lose. They're full-blown rebuild, I think, at this point, with a decent coach who knows how to get it done. But, yeah, I think the Raiders kind of trust O'Connell, think he can kind of work, potentially get them to the playoffs there. It's tough to say what Minnesota's going to do. I mean, I think maybe Sam Darnold, they have a little trust in. I think Denver's just like, screw it. We're at the bottom anyway. Nothing to lose. If their guys sitting there and they have a shot, I think they're the most likely to move up.
I love it. I love it. You guys got anything else before we close out here?
Yeah, I got one more thing. A little bit of a weirder draft. I know you were saying this, I think, before the show. A weaker defensive draft. This is like the first year and the last time I can remember we don't have a safety or a linebacker picked in the first round. Then there's no running backs picked. A really weak running back class. But running backs notoriously are not first round selections unless they're who was that Texas guy 2 years ago? Or Bijan. I think that was Gibbs. I don't know. But usually not a big first round drafts, but usually linebackers and safeties at least have a couple dudes in the first round. So I made a joke to my college friends with this year's safety selections in the NFL draft. I probably would be projected a 7th rounder, being a white safety. It's a terrible class. So that's just something I noticed. Really weak linebacker, safety, running back class.
Yeah. I guess the last thing I'll say, like I said, it's hard for me to get as into the draft this year just with Detroit not having a top 10 pick like I'm used to, but this definitely just did it for me. Bring on Thursday. I'm pumped. I'm ready. Throw some money around. I know, Wyatt, you shared quite a few nice plays that you're looking at for the draft, so I'll probably follow some of those. But yeah, I'm ready now. I'm ready.
Yeah. I will have a blog or an article over on Better in Green with my draft day selections, first round bets to take, props. So I started diving in, like Ethan said. There's quite a bit that I like. There's a plus 1,400 that I am eyeing and have already placed. Not a whole lot on it, but so I'll probably 5 to 10 picks over there on Better in Green or bettergreen.com. Make sure you do check that out. Super excited for the draft. I bet it every single year. I think I've been profitable since I've started. I think I'm 3 years in a row of the profit in the NFL draft. So I started looking at lines and it's super fun. So stay tuned for that. And then as always, follow us on Twitter. We'll post our picks over there as well.
We've been pretty good on the draft because I was profitable last year. Got a hotel in Kansas just for the reason that I could place my bets before heading over to the other side to watch the draft last year. And it's in Detroit this year. So if you guys keep those ears open, maybe you guys can hear some of the shouts 2 hours away. Guys, exactly. It was great getting back the whole gang together. Great seeing you guys. If you guys haven't been following us since football season, we're still posting constantly. These two guys just put out a excellent NBA playoff video today. Me and Ethan just put out our hockey prediction episode last week. Me and Bobby were doing MMA shows weekly. So make sure you guys continue to check us out. Head over to the website. I already have an article out right now about NFL Draft Day surprises. So go read that. Come back the next day, read Wyatt's article. And make sure if you guys haven't yet, check out Sharps, guys. It's a social media platform for sports bettors. Use our code BET269. That's bet with 2 T's, BETT269. You guys get to, if you see a play you like that we're on, you get to press the whale tail. It'll take you straight to the app. You can place it right there. Super easy, super convenient. And really, all the guys that are pretty big in sports betting, they're over there already. So head over, guys. Make sure you follow all these guys, including us, while you're over there. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace, guys.
Later, guys.
See you guys.
You better start listening to the Better in Green podcast. You will not regret it. Trust me. And hey, I'm Dean Blandino.
Welcome to Better in Green, eh? To Better in Green, eh? To Better in Green, eh? Cash out, that's what it's all about. Come on, let's make cash now. We always on spot and we cover old spot from the bottom to the top. Hey, shout out to Ethan, shout out to Wyatt, shout out to Ben. Welcome to our podcast. Better in Green.